World will remain uncertain for years to come. World will be volatile. Economic environment is going to be challenging. There are pockets of goodness, pockets of badness, but go with the flow of life, take every opportunity, and definitely you will succeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bala, for the wonderful presentation and sharing your perspective with our members. We have a question answer round. There are question slips on your desk. Can I request volunteers to collect them? So there's a question from one of our members. What could be a viable option to generate new jobs to avoid the social imbalance and unrest and jobless world of youth can create?
No, first the government should get out of business. Government can never create jobs. Even if you look at India, in the last many years, the IT industry replaced the government as the largest employment creator in the country. So the best way to create more jobs is for a government to get out of the business, become a facilitator, help the private sector to create jobs. Of course, innovations is going to destroy more and more jobs, but that is also an opportunity for people to move up, right? Because if you look at some of the technology changes happening, it is going to be a huge disruptor of job creation in the world. But at the same time, there are a lot of opportunities to move up. A chartered accountant don't need to be an accountant for life. He can become an entrepreneur. He can become a good consultant. I mean, when I came to this conference, I saw so many black coats. I thought I came into investment banking corporation. But right? So I know a lot of CAs who are started boutique investment firms, investment banking firms. A lot of people are doing consulting work. A lot of people are trying to become entrepreneurs. So there is always an opportunity, even in this world, to create jobs. But the primary thing what any economy should do is government should become a facilitator and work with the private sector to create more jobs. Otherwise, not going to happen. Manufacturing, everybody talks about, but manufacturing is going to get automated more and more. It is not going to create the same amount of jobs it created in the past. Service sector is going to create more jobs. The value addition is also very high in service sector. Even if you look at India, 50% of the economy is service sector today. Manufacturing is hardly 12%. So I think service sector, there's a lot more opportunity to create jobs, but you need to be innovative, you need to be current, and you need to be willing to take risk and create a differentiation in the market.
Thank you, sir, for this valuable answer. We have one more question. David Cameron has said that the world is heading towards an economic crash, which shall be bigger than 2008 crisis. Do you agree? And how do you think India is going to cope with it?
I agree and disagree. Agree in the sense, if you look at the current state of the world, it could be a much bigger crisis than what we saw in 2008. Because 2008, the crisis started because there were a lot of junk assets available in the system. A lot of easy money was flowing through the financial system, and it disproportionately increased asset prices. And when the correction happened, all the asset prices came down. That created a crisis. Now most of the junk assets are held by the central bank. If you take 4.4 trillion of Fed balance sheet, at least 2 trillion is Fannie Mae and Freddie Mae assets, which was a junk asset. So what will happen when governments start selling those assets? What will happen when you start increasing interest rate? It is going to create a havoc all over the world. If you look at Raghuram Rajan, the central bank governor in India, he is not reducing the interest rate for the same reason. Because US tomorrow start increasing interest rate. There is a view that they will start doing it from next year. It is going to create havoc. The money flow into the emerging market is going to come down drastically. Then rupee will depreciate. So I think we are in a crisis situation, but at the same time, as I said earlier, the balancing act is also happening. European Central Bank is pumping in $1 trillion into the economy. Japan is pumping in $1 trillion into the economy. So there are balancing acts today which will get the show going on for some more years. Probably we may not hit a crisis now, maybe 2-3 years down the line you may hit. That's why I said I agree and disagree.
Thank you, sir, for this answer. We have a few more questions, but due to paucity of time, you can contact Mr. Bala during the break time and he will be able to address your questions. I would now request our keynote speaker, Mr. Bala, to draw a raffle card from the bowl to declare a lucky winner for this session. The lucky winner will be entitled to receive a digital camera. This is the money man for our chapter, C. Yugandhar, the treasurer. Big hand for Yugandhar. Believe me, this is not rigged. I would now request our past chairman, C. A. Balu, to present a memento to our keynote speaker, Mr. Bala, as a token of gratitude. Thank you, C. A. Balu, for doing the honors. Thank you, sir. I would now request our chairman, C. A. Meenakshi Sundaram, to come on stage and honor one of our sponsors, Nimai Management Consultants from Dubai, by presenting a memento. I request Captain Sunil Saraf to be on stage to receive the memento, please. Thank you, C. A. Meenakshi, for doing the honors. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a slight change in agenda. Now we are at 10:50. We do a short coffee break for 10 minutes and we meet back at 11 a.m. And mind you, at 11 a.m. again there is an exciting raffle before we begin the session. So please be in the hall to be lucky. Ladies and gentlemen, please help yourself with some tea and coffee for 10 minutes. Acharya to be on stage to choose the lucky winner. Roma, can you please get that? Manoj Mani from Al Ghanem Certified Public Accountants. Is he in the hall? Yes, he is here. You get a dinner voucher for 2 from Golden Tulip Hotel. Thank you, C. A. Padmanabh. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker for the day is an expert in branding. Nowadays, from clothes to shoes, from cars to their tires, from food to the plates we eat are branded. And by chance, if they are not branded, we want them to be branded. Mr. Jamal Yusuf, who is the Managing Director of Arto Brand, a branding and environmental designing agency based in the Kingdom of Bahrain, will be addressing our members today and will be talking about brand today for a better tomorrow. For over 20 years, Mr. Jamal has created, developed and managed brands successfully in the region. Do you also know that Mr. Jamal has a keen interest in art and he's a sculptor by himself. Wow, that's amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mr. Jamal Yusuf, the next speaker for the day.
Yes.
Right arrow.
Yeah. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Very nice introduction. Well, Artobrand is a branding agency, and it has offices in Bahrain and Qatar. For over 20 years, we have created, developed, and managed brands, adding tangible value to our business, to our clients' businesses. We offer complete marketing solutions from strategy to concept through supervision and manufacture and implementation. Today, we will be talking about brand management and how design plays an integral part in any identity mix. And for that, we have to step back a little bit and go to the basics quickly. In order to be effective, every company needs a clear sense of purpose, and the people inside it must understand that purpose. They also need a strong sense of belonging. Purpose and belonging are the two faces of identity. Every company is unique. The identity must come from its own roots, from its personality, strengths, weaknesses. It's true for today's companies, as it has been for any other institution in history. The identity of a company must be clear, that products, behavior, and actions are measured against it. This means that identity cannot be a slogan or a collection of phrases. It must be visible, tangible, and all-embracing. Sorry, I've gone, the presentation lagged behind. Everything that the company does must be a confirmation of its identity. The products that it sells must project its standards and its values. The building in which things and trades, its offices, its factories, showrooms, how they are furnished, how they are maintained, all manifestation of identity. The company's communication material, from advertising to instruction manuals, must have a consistent quality and character that reflects the whole company and its aims. All these are visible, tangible, and are designed. And this is why design is a significant part of any identity mix. Another part, which is not so visible, but equally important, is how the company behaves to its own staff, to everyone that it comes in contact with, consumers, suppliers, local communities. In small companies, the management of identity is intuitive. It is a direct reflection of its founders' obsessions and interests. In big companies, however, it is not so easy. There are so many interests, each supported by individuals and big companies. There are so many interests, each supported by individuals that conflict and compete for power and influence. Its long-term purpose, its values, its identity must be managed clearly, or they will be overwhelmed in sectional infighting. The organization will simply become its own victim, under the mercy of factions seeking to control it. If you don't believe in what you do, you can't possibly survive. Empires fall and companies collapse. So much for the lacking of the survival, so much for the will to survive and to grow, as much as for failing to engage their people in the enterprise. In order to create loyalties, nothing should be left for chance. The company has to manufacture the symbols, loyalties, flags, rituals, names. Companies also must celebrate what it stands for through rituals and ceremonies. Now let's take a few examples from history to illustrate how large events were managed through branding. These examples will also show how relevant they are to today's organizations and businesses and about their dynamics. First, let's take the first example, which is the American Civil War. And how the Confederate States came to be. In December of 1860, Southern states of America and few northern states formally announced their breakup from the United States of America. Each one of these breaking away states could have become an independent country. But it's made more sense to unite, as they put it, to confederate. Therefore, the Confederate States of America was born. The CSA soon produced a constitution, a flag, even a Declaration of Independence, all of which are remarkably similar to the USA model. With a remarkable short time, the Confederate States of America had a capital city, Richmond, a Senate, a House of Representatives, an army, a navy. It even issued notes and coins. It appointed ambassadors. It even produced a national anthem, all of which resembled the USA in every respect. The fundamental difference, of course, was that the Confederates wanted to keep the slave industry alive, on which it was built, and the USA wanted to abolish it. This was influenced mainly by the fact that since the states are set the precedent of moving away from the USA, all the more reason to try and not make them move away from each other. And so they followed the most admired model at the time, which was the United States of America. Within almost months, almost weeks actually, the whole structure was born. Throughout history, rituals, symbols, visual imagery of different kinds has been invented by nations in order to create loyalties, change old ones, make out territories, reinforce ideas, and initiate new ways of doing things. The creation of the Confederacy called for just so action. The symbolism created was so attractive, in fact, that some still exist today. A whole industry was born around the tragedy of the American Civil War. Now let's take another example. At about the same time as the American Civil War, in a very different part of the world, and a wholly separate culture, the same kind of innovation was taking place. After the Indian Mutiny against the British rule in India in 1857, which was crushed brutally, a policy was born to get rid of the pockets of resistance from the remaining rebels of the Mughal Empire. India in those days consisted of territories which fall directly under the British rule and territories areas under the theocratical rule of nation of the native princesses. The territories over which these princesses provide vary in size, from the size of a stadium to a country larger than France. Territory size and wealth and other factors were taken into consideration when the British gradually introduced a new set of complex symbols and hierarchy of ranks in the previously random structure. A royal order of Indian knighthood was established, which was the Star of India. As part of the process, the Queen became Empress of India. These changes were celebrated in an imperial assemblage or darbar, a launch event. So here you see, for instance, the princesses with the Star of India on their chest. This was given by the British rule to each one of these princes so that they can control their own territories, and they work hard to getting in the favorable to the system. For example, in this example, for instance, this is the Delhi Darbar in 1877. It's a very exaggerated ceremony to announce the ascension of the Queen of England as being Caesar of India. In addition, all Indian princesses were awarded a coat of arms, and each was awarded with a salute of guns. The number depended on the size and the wealth of the state. This is the Delhi Darbar in 1903. Again, rituals has been consistent over the years. And here you have the Darbar of 1911 as well. Now, something very similar from history that teaches us all some important lessons in the modern world of how to manage big corporations and how to go about managing and controlling the forces that are sometimes seem very chaotic into a very consistent and managed way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Jamal, for this wonderful presentation and making our members aware about the importance of branding and why should we brand today for a better tomorrow. I would now request Mr. Jamal to draw a raffle card to choose our lucky winner. This is another lucky man of our chapter, C.A. Suresh Rana. As I told in the first seminar of this year, you have opened the innings with a great score, so see it is continuing, sir. No questions?